My name's Kevin, I'm 27, and up until about 2 years ago, I still held out hope that my family would eventually come around and see me as more than the convenient scapegoat they molded me into. But people don't change just because you hope they will. Sometimes they double down, and when they do, all that's left is for you to stop hoping and start remembering who you are. I grew up as the oldest of three, then came Rachel, the golden child, and Eric, the accidental caboose, who was too young to matter in any of the family politics. From the outside, it probably looked like we were close family, holiday photos, polite comments on Facebook, the usual digital facade, but behind the scenes, I was Theo and expected to clean up everyone's messes. When Rachel crashed her car in college, I was the one who drained my savings to help her keep it quiet, so she won't lose her internship. When Mom forgot to pay the electric bill 3 months in a row and tried to blame it on Eric playing video games, I quietly covered it. No thank you, just ahead. Till 10, a vague, well, that's what Yuri's supposed to do for family, right? I kept doing it for years. Every favor, every dollar, every piece of emotional labor, I gave it without a fight. I thought that maybe, just maybe, if I kept showing up, they'd finally see me as someone they could be proud of. That illusion shattered last November on what should have been a normal afternoon. Rachel had just gotten engaged to her longtime boyfriend Brandon. We weren't close, but always struck me as one of those harmlessly bland types. He wore bow shoes to Thanksgiving and said things like, "Killer spread, Mrs. C." Still, I was genuinely happy for her. I thought this might be the moment we all turned a corner. I texted her congratulations, offered to help however I could, and even volunteered to handle their honeymoon costs. As a wedding gift, she responded with a half-hearted tea checks, and I didn't think much of it. Then 2 weeks ago, I got a call from Mom while I was wrapping up work. I still don't know if she meant Toilet. The venom in her voice slipped through her. If she genuinely didn't care that I heard it, don't even think about showing up to the wedding. She snapped before I could say hello. Rachel's finally going to have the perfect day she deserves, and we're not going to let you ruin it. I was quiet for a second, trying to figure out what she was talking about. I wasn't planning on making a speech or doing anything flashy. I was just going to show up, clap at the right moments, maybe hug a few people. Ruin it how? I asked slowly. Her voice dropped into that sickly sweet tone she always used when she wanted to disguise something cruel. Kevin, you've never exactly looked the part, you know that, right? You always dress like you were going to a job interview, and not a good one, and the way you hover around it's off-putting. Rachel doesn't want you in the photos. She asked me to tell you, and frankly, I agree. I couldn't breathe for a second. It felt like my ears were ringing. All the years I'd bent over backward for them, all the effort to be supportive, and now I was being told I didn't even deserve a seat at the wedding, that it somehow ruined their perfect little family image by simply existing in the background. I could hear Rachel's voice in the background, too light, dismissive, laughing like this whole thing was some kind of inside joke. Tell him he can send a gift, though, she called out. He's still good for that. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't yell or defend myself. I just smiled. It was the same smile I used to give my boss when he tried to dump his work on me, the one that says, "You have no idea what I'm about to do." "Sure," I said, my tone light. "I understand." She hung up without another word. I opened my laptop, logged into the joint account it set up for the honeymoon gift, and reversed the transfer for $200 back into my pocket in 5 seconds. He took a screenshot of the reversal and texted it to Mom with a simple caption, "I would want to ruin anything." No reply, but I know she saw it. She always reads messages obsessively. Now here's the part they really don't know. Last year I quietly invested in a chain of mid-tier that were struggling post-pandemic. One of them happened to be the exact location Rachel bragged about booking on Instagram, Lakeview Ridge Theon, with a big white gazebo, an overpriced brunch menu. The moment I recognized it in her post, I double-checked my emails. Yep, it was under our portfolio. Not only did I partially own it, I had final sign-off power on all large events held there, including, say, weddings. At first, I considered pulling the plug immediately, just canceling the booking, watching them scramble, but that felt too easy, too quick. They wouldn't feel it, they wouldn't understand it. I wanted them to stew in their own smugness a little longer. I wanted them to post their countdown stories, their dress fittings, their seating chart arguments. I wanted them to laugh behind me back just a few more times, So instead I've been watching patiently waiting and made a few quiet calls to the event coordinator at Lakeview Ridge asking Tobe notified if there were any concerns or issues with the Carson's wedding reservation. I reviewed the contract and let me tell you it's airtight except for one tiny clause buried deep in the fine print. Full payment is required 10 days before the event or the booking is considered forfeited, not delayed, not postponed. Forfeited. The wedding is in 12 days. And as of this morning no final payment has been submitted. I didn't need to do anything yet, just wait, watch, let them keep treating me like a